And now, ladies and gentlemen, we head towards our next discussion. And in this discussion, we are focusing on integrating digital innovation into overall engagement to deliver value to HCPs. So yes, that is what we're going to discuss in this session. And for that, our chairperson for this session is a seasoned corporate professional with a rich experience of over 40 years in sales and marketing in the pharmaceutical and healthcare segment. As part of his corporate career, he has handled the domestic business as Senior VP and Vertical Head and Senior VP International Business in Cadila Pharma Limited. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Dr. Pramod Kumar Rajput, former Senior Vice President, Sales and Marketing at Cadila Pharmaceuticals. Request you, sir, to please join us on stage. And our speaker for this session, ladies and gentlemen, comes with 16 years of experience in global and domestic pharma marketing and advertising, including digital transformation. Please welcome on stage Mr. Azim Mistry, Cluster Marketing Director at Dr. Reddy's Laboratories. All right, since Mr. Mistry is not here, we'll just go ahead and invite all our panelists onto the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, our first panelist is Mr. Shantanu Rudra, Vice President at Eris Life Sciences Private Limited. Shantanu is a marketing and sales professional with demonstrated skills in talent management, business strategy, and brand management. He comes with 20 plus years of rich experience in the healthcare industry and is currently leading the cardio-metabolic businesses of Eris Life Sciences. Can we have Mr. Rudra with us? All right. Okay, so we'll move on to our next panelist, and that is Mr. Anuj Maheshwari, Senior Vice President, Sales and Marketing at USV Private Limited, handling a portfolio of 4 teams at USV with a major focus on cardiology business. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Now may I please invite on stage Mr. Santosh Jagtap, Senior Director at Cipla Pharmaceuticals, to please join us on stage. Mr. Jagtap is a commercial leader in pharmaceuticals and healthcare sector with 19 years of expertise in strategy, marketing, people, and general management. Request you, sir, to please present a bouquet of flowers to Mr. Jagtap. With a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, please. And last but not the least, may I please invite on stage Mr. John Matthew, President of Havas Life Sorrento, to please join us on stage. With an experience of over 24 years, in his current role, John is responsible for providing a new horizon to the existing business while additionally creating a reliable gateway for new business opportunities for Havas Life Sorrento. Let's have a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as we welcome Mr. John Matthew here. And with that, may I please request Dr. Dr. Rajput to please take forward from here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Very, very good afternoon to all of you. एक बार अपने लिए तालियां बजा लीजिए प्लीज, क्योंकि वी ऑल आर फ्रॉम द सेल्स एंड मार्केटिंग. जो दिखता है वो जोर से बोलिए, एक बार जोर से. जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. अब वो डिजिटल ऐसा हो गया है कि हमें दिखाना भी है और बेचना भी है, राइट? दिखाना भी है, बेचना भी है. दैट इज़ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज it is a blend of both the things. It is becoming a digital and phygital both, right? And lot many good things are going to happen. So we had a wonderful people who had come, wonderful professionals we had come here. And Sumit ji ne bola ki project management team, which is very, very important, because I was listening one of the podcast of the head of the McKinsey. He said there will be a requirement of 5.1 billion people in the project management by 2025. So what you said, you have really banged on the right thing, which is really required. Then Dr. Abhinkar has come. He said that how I can differentiate. Beautiful example of cetirizine. 2 things only, and still it is continuing, but still it is selling, right? And then after that, this Rinkesh ji, Ninja. मैंने ये देखा Bruce Lee and Ninja and all had come. It is put together like that beautifully. He has said about it. So he spoke about what's the digital marketing or marketing in digital. Very well been captured. Right. Now today, I would like to have a beautiful discussion with the three or the eminent leaders here who knows the things very well about it. And thank you so much, Pharma in Future, Mr. Jena and the team, for giving me this such a wonderful opportunity to be present in front of such a great people who are leading the pharmaceutical industry and who are going to lead the pharma industry in the coming time as well. So with this, I will start a small snips, nothing much about it. This is one of the beautiful book, which is The Digital Doctor. I must thank Mr. Anuj for helping me for this beautiful slide. And The Digital Doctor, what is said about it, I like to highlight it here. The author who has written, right, he is Mr. Watcher, right, he written, travels the country and he met many people and then he wrote the book. After reading this book, another doctor, physician, what he wrote about it, as I came to a new understanding of my own profession as it being reshaped by the technology, simply brilliant. So this is the one of the synonyms which has come by one of the doctor. And again, Atul Gawande, he has written here, he has 8 chapters where he has noted about this particular book. So there are so many things are there. This is simply one of the example which I am giving it here. We have just now listened about it, so I am not going to repeat about what the government of India is doing the program, what other things are happening and there. Let me listen from the basic panelists which are going to speak on the part. This is again that how digitalization is going to help all of us, how we can empower it, how we can ensure it, and how we can make the things happen. Because not only the government, but the pharmaceutical industry, they are hoping towards it to make the things happen. I can only say, we talk about the digital journey, but at the same time, the person who is implementing down the level, right, they are still towards more of the physical part, because there is a gap is there from the head office side and at the same time the person who is implementing down the level. The medical rep always feel that meeting a doctor is going to make a difference, what digitalization is going to happen. And that is the reason what Mr. Sumit has said, we have to have the project management person who talk about the particular niche segment or particular related to the division or particular related to their specialty, which is very important because all the things cannot be filled in the same basket. So with this, I would like to invite all the 3 beautiful eminent panelists to please come, and somebody can help for the chair, please, if you don't mind. Okay, so the first question goes to you, Mr. Anuj. That is, in the evolving digital landscape, how it is addressing the need of HCP?
So we have heard from Rahul, the entire ecosystem of India is changing. And many of you would have heard in the news, the National Digital Health Mission, the Ayushman Bharat, creating a lot of pressure in the corporate hospitals. Coming back to evolving landscape and engagement of the HCP, these are 2 separate entities. So on one hand, the landscape of digital environment is improving with the initiatives of government. Pharma companies are attempting to become more digital savvy. At the same time, many of the doctors are also trying to come into that. Now, when we look at the evolving, ecosystem, one very interesting aspect I want to emphasize is that when we look at, compared to the global average of 150 doctors per 1 lakh people, India has only 64 doctors per 1 lakh people. That clearly signifies there is a need of digital initiative, you call, or digital environment look at. And I think government is doing a lot of job in that. Secondly, when I look at in this omni-channel environment, which my colleague before this talked, Sumit, in this omni-channel environment, it is critical to look beyond a single digital touch point, single digital channel touch point. And we have to give a HCP overall experience when we are engaging a doctor. And that's what I think in detail was emphasized by my previous speaker. But what I want to emphasize here again is, when we are giving an overall experience, it's important to look at various digital engagement channels. If I am sending a communication only on email and overlooking at the other engagement channel, it will not work. Because I need to deliver that value to the HCP while working on this aspect of engagement. So still, I think a long way to go. It's evolving. I'll say it's a very nascent stage of digital working, what we all are doing. Some companies are slightly ahead, but still, I think a lot of gray areas are there, and understanding amongst all of us also, let me be very, very honest about it, is still, I think, has to evolve further. So that's what I say.
Thank you so much. I think very well you have said the context of it and given your opinion. So with this context, I will like to go to Mr. Jagtap. And my second question to Mr. Jagtap is that how to innovate and move forward the process of valuing the HCP engagement.
So first of all, I think thank you, Sushant, and the entire iMedic team for having this kind of a platform. At least to my understanding, I think this is the first event like this I am attending, right? And I am also happy that on a holiday Saturday we have such a big crowd. So that really talks about that there is a genuine interest in the topic and people would really like to really learn or contribute to a platform like this. Now the question is, normally what I have seen is the moment world digital comes in, because I also come from that era where I started my career somewhere in 2001. And whenever we used to heard this word called as digital into marketing, it used to create some ripples in us, right? But I think the starting point for this particular value creation for HCP has to be monitoring currently what you are doing. And it can go to a level of as simple as like, for example, I think most of the companies have transitioned into iPads, right? Now, if I really analyze the data, what I'm currently doing, for example, what is an ideal time where a HCP gives maximum amount of time at a particular interval, right? What is that page on your iPad which is where the maximum time is spent by an HCP, right? What is that particular order which is enjoyed by an HCP, right? So what I believe is, if we start analyzing what we are currently doing, right, we can have a lot of insights on in what particular way you can address a cohort of HCPs. And then what we can do is, we can start making changes in our promotion strategy, in our marketing strategy based on the preference of a particular customer, right? So for me, if you really ask me, the starting point definitely has to be whatever we are doing has to be analyzed, and our field force need to be feed with this particular data. For example, if I'm meeting a particular customer, right? If I integrate what I am doing along with various social media channels which doctor is part of. In fact, that is one more area where I think we need to do a lot of work. How can you integrate what is happening outside clinic with what is happening inside clinic? And there are particular topics where doctor is attending scientific programs. He is talking about it in social media. Can we take that information and transfer it to our own rep in helping him in making a very important decision that this is what topic doctor is of interest and he should talk about this particular topic, and this information need to be sent to medical reps as early as possible, as frequently as possible. And I think that is how I believe value can be created for HCPs. Every scientific engagement or other engagements can be meaningful, right? And I think this is what is starting point. And as and when you start building a lot of insights, I think the way forward will be definitely come out, and it will be always evolving.
Great, Mr. Jagtap. What you said that upskilling of the field is very, very important. Monitoring is equally important. Upgrading is also very important, because the new changes has to be adopted and it has to be ensured that it should go to the right person at the right time with the right contact and the right context. So thinking about beautiful things, now we have one of the great personality on the digital platform. I would like to ask this wonderful question from Mr. John, that how the pharma industry evolving and scaled in the using the newer technology. What you suggest and what you feel about it.
So, good afternoon, everyone. Really happy to be sitting here, discussing this with everyone on this Saturday morning. Thank you, Sushant, for organizing this. Okay. Coming to the question, how is the pharmaceutical industry evolving? I feel, yes, it is evolving, but despite at a very, very, slow pace. What is really happening is, especially during the COVID period, I mean, that's when everyone started thinking about digital as a, a serious function. But that point of time also, the pharmaceutical industry was primarily trying to address a latent need, which was they were not able to, meet up with the doctors. So suddenly everyone started looking at alternate methods of reaching out to the doctors, which are the different communication channels that are available. Suddenly, as all of you are aware, the webinars started going up. Other modes of communication, a lot of WhatsApp messages started floating in the market. Emailers become very common. But the problem with that is that may not be the right way to approach, digital as a, a strategy. Because planning communication channels or optimizing communication channels comes much later. What we need to really look at is the patient journey. Now, if you look at the patient journey, there will be some 4 or 5 phases in it. One could be the awareness phase. Then comes the onset of the symptoms. Then comes the presentation of the symptoms to a doctor or the diagnosis. Then the actual choice of treatment, which what the doctor does. And after that, the management of the disease, which is a continuous process. Now, most of the pharma companies traditionally actually focus only on the treatment choice because we communicate traditionally only to the doctors. And we do some good to have activities like some patient communication materials, tear pads that will be given to the doctors or sending a few messages to patients. Apart from that, we never used to, address any of the other phases of the entire spectrum of the patient journey. Now, if you look at it from this perspective, then you will see that there are many moments of truth across the spectrum, right from awareness to the onset of the symptoms to the presentation or diagnosis of the disease to actually making a choice of treatment by the doctor to continuous management. So we need to really identify these moments of truth and then see what need to be done, to address each of these points. It could be digital, it could be non-digital. It doesn't really matter, as Ringesh said. Digital comes into picture when it's really necessary. And many times in today's world, yes, digital is very important because we all use digital as a major medium. So from that perspective, yes, digital is very important. But we need to identify what are the different moments of truth that we have and what are the touch points that we need to capture. And this is how we need to look at digital as a platform or as a function. But unfortunately, I don't think that's the way the pharma industry is evolving. Most of the time, we look at the novelty value of a new technology, and it's nice to have. And one particular cycle, we do this, and then it'll become really tactical. Nothing continues for long. Okay, this cycle, I have done something really fancy. Everyone clapped, and it's nice. Next cycle, we don't even know what happened to that. There is no continuous measurement of any of the activities. And this is what is happening. So if you ask me whether it is really evolving, yes, it is evolving in bits and pieces here and there. But is it really integrated in a coherent manner? My answer is no.
So, on the scale of 1 to 10, how much you rate that, what is the today's situation? And in the coming time, what we should be doing as a pharma industry? So I like to know from you, on the scale of 1 to 10.
See, we are somewhere in the middle, I would say. Maybe much behind, let's say, a financial industry or insurance industry. To me, I mean, if you ask me, digital should be like Maggi noodles.
So today, where we are, 1 to 10. 1,
maybe
2, 3,
maybe
4,
a 5, maybe a 5.
Maybe 5.
Yeah, somewhere there. So why I said Maggi noodles, it should be faster, efficient, and palatable. Now, if the digital is not making your, your efforts much more faster and efficient, then it is only complicating stuff. So if you really look at it from that perspective, whatever we are doing in digital, are we making, even if it is communication, if the communication is the objective, many a times communication need not be the only objective when we are looking at digital. As I said, we need to look at all these different phases and see where exactly we need to intervene and what is the best method to intervene there. If it is digital or some other platforms that are required, then we need to look at that.
Thank you so much for giving your opinion and as well as what we should be doing it. And again, coming back to Mr. Anuj, my question to you is that in the SCP journey and how the organization should map it so that it will be a win-win situation. That's what I asked the question, that how much you will give in the context of 1 to 10. Yes, it should be a win-win situation.
My colleague John talked about the patient journey. We are talking about the SCP journey. So there are three major areas, I think, from my personal opinion perspective and what I have experienced while interacting with the SCPs and the environment is, there are three major areas where we are mapping the SCP journey along the various engagement channels. The first one is content. We all are talking content is king, So content becomes very important in this entire SCP journey. So where the SCP is looking the information, and am I addressing the information need? The need, what he is requiring the info, am I addressing that? That is very, very important content. The second is channel, the digital engagement channel. Where should the SCP go to seek the information? There is a plethora of information. If you go to Google, so doctors don't need to attend the conferences. Nowadays, when you go, they say, it's okay, I attend virtually, because they have learned the way in COVID. The second one is channel. The first one was content, second was the channel. The third one is discoverability. Now, discoverability is what? As a company, can I give access to the content to the SCP? So companies, certain organizations are working on the repository of certain data, which they are pushing to the doctors, a certain cohort of doctor, what my colleague was talking, a certain persona of doctor. And that is the way they are trying to satisfy the MOT, moment of truth of the doctor. So in that journey, after gathering the digital insights, what everybody of us know, that digital insight you get, and how do you get the digital insight? Again, coming to that omni-channel environment. So these three has to be integrated together, content, channel, and discoverability. And when these things happen, you can map the entire SCP journey. I don't want to go into detail into that, but that's very important because I want to emphasize one important area here is there are three major areas where you again will map the SCP journey. One is, and you will get the data insights also. One is the rep interaction with the SCP. Second one, the SCP attending the professional conferences, virtual conferences, professional meetings. And the third very important is, which is the network of that SCP, which is the same set of doctors the SCP is interacting, whether it is any chronic business or acute, particularly chronic I am talking. So these are the three areas. Am I able to map? And organizations are working on that. So if a doctor is attending a virtual meeting, and if he is in your SVL, you are able to track the doctor and you are able to know what is happening and what you are going to target the doctor. So it will help you to refine your segmentation and your targeted tactics. So I think that is the take home for marketing team particularly, which will help us to move forward in this journey of digital.
Fantastic. You reminded us when we all read in the MBA STP part, segmentation, targeting, and positioning. Now one more part has been added, that is the process, which is very important. Because without the process, the things will not happen. Very well you said it. And digitalization is going to add this wonderful part which is required. So taking the clue from you, going forward with Mr. Santosh, my question is, which digital capability does every organization should have? And this is a very wonderful question to you because you are going to speak about in front of all the pharma people sitting here. So this is a direct message to all the brand managers and the people who are here. So yes, over to you.
Yeah. So I think there are two aspects to this particular question. So the first is building a digital capability, say for your internal stakeholders or your internal team, right? The first important thing, if you really ask me, and if I think from a very front-end sales point of view, see currently, our sales teams do not get much of a data, right, for taking right decisions. And in fact, if you really ask me, every customer engagement is actually a decision, right? What need to be done, what need to be speak, right? Unfortunately, he's working on a very standard guidelines which has been given.
Correct.
Right? So the first capability which I believe every organization need to build is whatever we are doing currently, how can we really analyze that, monitor that, and develop a mechanism by which we give a very important insights to our front-end sales team. As far as this particular customer is concerned, this is the approach which we should talk. This is the communication which need to be emphasized on. These are the kind of engagements which he prefers, right? So you can talk about it, and so on and so forth, right? So can we have these kind of a system in place? Second important piece, the capability building is, say, from a customer window, right? And when I talk about external customer window, I'm talking about doctor as well as patient and their interface.
Correct.
Right? Now, all of us understand that what common problem we have in India is the amount which is spent by a doctor with patients, right? So currently, if you ask me, there is only one thing which is available for this interface is physical interaction, and because of the COVID now it has become a digital interaction. But having said that, every patient has a difficulty in reaching out to doctor, right, once he is out of his clinic, right? And it is not only because doctors don't want to interact with them, but more importantly, there is a paucity of time and there are so many things which need to be done. Now, the second capability where I think every pharma company need to build upon is how can you make sure that a doctor has the freedom to reach out to his patient anytime and vice versa. If the patient in the middle of the night has some side effects, some problem, he has the flexibility to reach out to a doctor. And if doctor is not able to answer his queries, can we create a complete ecosystem where patient can reach out to anyone? So we have call centers. If we get any kind of a problem, a simple problem, we reach out to call centers. That kind of a ecosystem currently is not available. And I understand that we are really talking about a very advanced version of it. But at least can we build, can we make a small beginnings? Can we start building, creating capabilities by which patient and doctor can be in constant touch with each other without physically meeting, right? And both of them have the freedom of reaching out to each other irrespective of whatever time it is. I think these two set of capabilities need to be built on. I think my friend John has worked in building this capabilities for pharma companies for a very long time. I think John can add to this.
Yeah, correct.
Thank you. Only a couple of points that I would like to add. Now, in today's world, any brand planning, brand strategy is based on patient centricity. Even HCP's journey is part of the whole, a patient-centric approach, looking at the patient's journey through the disease management system. Now, if that is the case, I feel that traditionally all pharmaceutical companies have a system of reaching out to their customers who are doctors. And we have a large team of probably the largest customer-facing teams all pharmaceutical companies own. But at the same time, we do not have any system or platforms which help us to reach out to patients or consumers. Now, I feel that that is one latent need that we have in front of us. We need to have equally strong systems and platforms which help help us to reach out to our consumers our product as well. That will help us in multiple ways. That will also help us to condition the market. That will help us to create awareness about different disease conditions. That will help us, to manage, the disease for a long term. That will also probably help us to get a lot of data and anticipate what is coming up. So this is one thing that I think every pharmaceutical company should invest in. And if you look at the search data, 1 in every 20 searches that is happening in Google is health related. If that much of searches are happening about health, and it also says that more than 57% of the patients Google their conditions before even going to a doctor. If that is a situation, definitely I think pharmaceutical companies also need to own that particular space. And also I feel that will also change the complete pharmaceutical marketing dynamics. Our dependability on one set of customers also may change now moving forward. So this is one capability that pharmaceutical companies should invest in, is what I feel.
Good. Yeah, please.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Santosh and John, for giving the perspective. I just want to give my own perspective about digital capability of organization. I'm aware that a lot of Indian and definitely multinationals are trying to build the digital capability within the organization. One of the perspective is that if I want to build the digital capability, should I build the digital capability only of my field force or marketing? Or I need to build the digital capability of entire ecosystem of my organization?
Well said, well said.
So many of the times, a few companies failed recently in the last 2.5 years when they went very aggressively during COVID, post-COVID. And they started doing the training, Google certification course for the reps and field and all. But somehow the other functions were not ready enough. They were not digitally adaptability was not there, and the capability was not there. So I think when we are looking at digital capability, I think we have to look from an organization perspective, which is the question. So when organization comes, it's not only sales and marketing, though many of us are from sales and marketing here, so we are talking that. But the entire ecosystem is very, very important if you really want to move forward in digital environment.
Well said. I think what you said is correct, because all of us are from the sales and marketing. But at the same time, we always say that the sales and marketing people, they are the arrowhead for the organization, because in any of the commercial house, we are the P&L people who maintain the entire thing. And I remember one of the talk which Mr. Archie is from DRL, he is present here, he was giving, and he was talking that when we prepare our P&L, we should put up some percentage of the expenditure or expenses for L&D development, which is very important. So this is one of the very important things, because the change is happening, and when we talk about the development of our people, that how many people have been developed, at what level they have been developed, if we start working on it, whatever the amount we have, doesn't mean that we should start comparing with the top 10 companies. It may be happening in the small companies as well, but it depends that what is the way, which kind we are able to develop, it is going to make a lot of difference. Let me just, it just reminded me, I am sure many of you would have read the newspaper. When Mr. Sundar Pichai had come here 10 days back, he was talking to our respected Prime Minister. What he said, by 2025, Google is going to come with 1,000 language chatbots. Google is going to come with 1,000 language chatbots in the entire world. So when we say that, when the Google is developing it, and we have the patient journey, we have the doctors also, how many chatbots can be prepared? What just now Mr. Jagtap has said, that if we are in the chronic business, we cannot have the call center, but we can have the chatbots where we can immediately give the answers wherever it is required in the emergency. So this is a new way which is coming up, and that is the reason the AI, VR, it is going to help for the future, and it is a requirement. We have to adopt it, otherwise we are going to become obsolete. And in the international market, whenever you Google it, whenever you see the slides of the PwC or McKinsey, you will find that the international companies, the multinational, they started adopting it very well. So with this, I will like to go to the next question with Mr. John, though you have already replied, but how the meaningful data can be compiled. So just one line from your side.
So for data, the first thing is, I think today what is required is the master customer data itself is a challenge for most of the pharmaceutical companies. So I think that is the first step. Second is, again, in the traditional SFE model, we are actually measuring the processes. So all the matrices that we keep are for measuring the processes. Now, probably we need to move beyond that. Then we will get more meaningful data. What I mean by saying that is, for example, take a typical CRM data, right? iPad detailing that is done to the doctor, and then the data that is derived out of that. The first is the default matrices that are available with any of the CRM platforms is for measuring the processes. How much time they have, detailed, which page they have spent more time, and this is how it goes. Or whether they have done it as per the, that particular day's plan. Now, there are two more things. One is definitely the process part, and I think second part is the penetration of the core message. How will we measure that? And third is the engagement. Now, the first thing is purely technology. Technology can measure it. But for the second and the third part, penetration of the core message, and for the engagement, the technology is already there, but you have to develop content in such a way that you can also measure that. For example, how will you know that whether the message has really been communicated to the doctor? It could be just measuring the time, but there could be more mechanisms that you can actually add to the content itself so that it can be measured. Even for the engagement, how will we measure the engagement, whether the engagement has happened properly or not? So for that also you need to put the content in such a way that that can be measured. So once you have all this data coming into your system, then you can think of developing customized, personalized content for each of these doctors. And that will be the most valuable data any pharmaceutical company can have. And it will become like cookie-based marketing. For example, if you go to your Facebook page, why do you see the ad of a real estate company? A few minutes back only you have checked some real estate company in your Google. So they are using cookie-based marketing. Can we use such marketing techniques even in pharmaceutical industry, which will be very relevant, very personalized for a doctor? So I think that's a kind of data we should be compiling moving forward.
Thank you so much. So the last question from Mr. Jagtap, right? What would you like to convey to the people sitting here, pharma people? And same question I'll be asking for Mr. Anuj also, so that we should be maintaining the time as well, and the last message can be taken for the entire group. Yes, Mr. Jagtap.
Yeah. So I think I will talk on probably more from a point of view, or is what will be the future expectations of HCPs from us, right? And I think this is a very important question and a very broad question, and all of us might have our own version of it. I would really like to talk about my own version. So I think the first expectation definitely will be that when we really look at doctors, who consumes doctors' time? I believe his family, then patients. And the third important thing, one of the doctors communicated this to me, that the third entity which consumes my time is pharmaceutical companies. His time need to be consumed with a lot of value addition, which is currently not happening. So I think, how can we really create those systems, processes, and effectiveness in our promotion so that his time is valued? Point number one.
Correct.
Point number two is, in fact, John was talking about a very N is equal to 1 model of HCP engagement. I know it is an ideal thing to achieve, but to start with, I need to have a freedom as a HCP that at whatever time I want to access the content, it's my decision. Which content I want to access, it's my decision. Can we create that degree of personalization where at my own convenient time, at my own preference, I would like to have that content at my place on my mobile, right? Rather than somebody coming and forcefully putting that content on me. So this is second piece. And the third important expectation is, can you really help me in managing my patients well?
Correct.
Can you create that ecosystem around me and my patients, because of which I will be able to improve the patient outcomes. Right.
Well said.
And I'm not only talking from a window of medicines, but a patient is sitting in his home. Can you deliver the medicines at his residence? Can somebody go, phlebotomist go to his residence, takes the sample, deliver the reports? Can patient reach out to a doctor digitally, get the consultation, and if only needed, come to the physically to the clinic? So can you really helping doctor in creating this ecosystem? I believe these are the three broader areas where doctors will be expecting pharmaceutical industry to do a lot, and that is what I believe is a way forward.
Fantastic. So you have put a very right perspective. You said, can you? So now to the brand manager sitting here, of course your seniors are here. I'm coming to that. So now the people on the other side of the dais, you have to ensure that instead of can you, you should make it I can. To start working on that. That is very, very important. That is the way this beautiful conference is there. And in the last, because Mr. Anuj just started it, so the last stroke on the nail from Mr. Anuj's side, what you like to give to everybody?
So I think we have covered a good amount of information, knowledge. I think physical will not go. Digital is evolving. So it would be, we all are talking about phygital. So how digital can complement the face-to-face or physical? I think that is what we need to look at when we are working on the brands, when we are making our engagement journey of a doctor. At the same time, let's start looking at the brand and the patient and HCP journey from both perspectives. Don't leave physical. That's still important. The traditional route is still important. Because you need to understand the person on the other side. The doctor is also not digitally capable, So the compatibility has to be there. So you need to evolve. There would be a set of customer, the young generation we are talking would be digital. You see old doctor, 60 years, 65, you say, and he's a potential doctor. So you need to segmentize the doctor. You have to create a persona of a doctor and target the doctor accordingly. There could be 60% digital, 40% physical. There could be 90% physical, 10% digital. There could be 100% physical, 100% digital. So I think that would be the future what I am looking at. And the data analytics report, which are going to emerge in future, would be something different what we are looking at the current MIS. That's all.
Thank you so much. I think very well being conveyed and said to the August gathering sitting here. And with this, we are overing this particular beautiful panel discussion. We have discussed because पहले एक अकेले आते थे, अब तीन एक साथ आ गए. तो तीन सब पे जो हैं, they are able to tell what are the new things are required. And I'm sure that such type of meeting and the conference is going to enrich our experiences. And at the same time, if suppose we are able to take the 10% of the take-home message, I think we'll be able to build lot many beautiful things which the leaders coming here on the platform, they are implementing in their organization and they are getting the results from the organization. With this, thank you so much, Mr. Jaina, once again for giving this opportunity for all of us to be a part of such a wonderful, great discussion. Thank you, Farman. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anuj ji. Thank you, Jagdap ji. Thank you, Mr. John. Thank you.
So our first memento goes to Mr. Anuj Maheshwari. And can I request sir to please present the next memento to Mr. Santosh Jagtap. And now finally, sir, can you please present the next memento to Mr. John Matthew.